Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Hit the Apex. I'm Charlie, and today we have another live watch along. This time, we are watching the 2022 Belgian Grand Prix. Before we get going, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Dugout Daily, the football channel, Hit the Apex, the F1 channel, and MCFC Hibs on Twitter. We'll get going in a moment. We're about 3.5 minutes away from the formation lap here at Spa-Francorchamps. So round 14 of the 2022 season comes to Spa-Francorchamps. Carlos Sainz starts on pole alongside Sergio Perez. Max Verstappen starts 14th after taking grid penalties. Charles Leclerc is 15th. The weather is much improved today with sunny skies overhead. After the summer break, F1 has come back full force with plenty of driver swaps, technical directives, upgrades, and even a mixed up grid for today's race. Deep breath, it's time for a catch up. Starting from at the front then, and Carlos Sainz is on pole for Ferrari. He actually posted the second fastest time in qualifying, but Max Verstappen's leading marker didn't mean too much given the Dutchman has grid penalties and starts 14th. Sainz lines up alongside Sergio Perez. Those two have a brilliant opportunity today, with Charles Leclerc also starting down the field. On paper, Red Bull have the quicker car, but the gap in race trim is narrower than it was in qualifying. So, engine penalties is the short answer for why Verstappen and Leclerc are down the order. Both wanted to introduce new power unit components to make sure they have enough to get to the end of the season, and this race is a good one to do it. Is at any given overtaking is entirely possible. It was a shame for Verstappen in particular, who has been on scintillating form all weekend, but such was his pace advantage over the rest of the field that George Russell is tipping him to win from P14 on the grid. Those two are joined by a whole host of others down at the back of the field. Lando Norris, Esteban Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Valtteri Bottas, and Guan Yu Zhou are also taking various power unit components. Now, what's just happened here? Sorry about that. We just hit 2 o'clock, which means the formation lap is underway here at Spa. Those two are joined by a host of others down the back of the field. Lando Norris, Esteban Ocon, Mick Schumacher, Valtteri Bottas, and Guan Yu Zhou are also taking various power unit components. And to add to the list, Yuki Tsunoda, who it has just been announced, is also taking on new power unit components and will start from the pit lane. There were plenty of driver market changes in silly season, with Sebastian Vettel retiring at the end of the season, Fernando Alonso going to Aston Martin, McLaren and Daniel Ricciardo parting ways, and Alex Albon extending his contract at Williams. Here is Esteban Ocon. We'll need to check actually if you can hear this. One moment. Yeah. So here is Esteban Ocon on the radio pre-race.
If you can ask Tom to get the eye wash, I got something in my eye stuck.
Okay, mate, understood, will do.
Alonso gave Alpine an idea of what they will be missing with a solid qualifying performance that sees him line up third on the grid today. He managed to get ahead of both Mercedes, and that Alpine does look decently quick with what will make Ocon worth a watch from the back of the field. But what happened to Mercedes? From being in with a shout of the win at Silverstone and then pole in Hungary to be a worrying 1.8 seconds off the pace. Here is Pierre Gasly on the radio pre-race.
Did you take a different line in turn 2? We see some big...
Yeah, I tried flat. I ran a bit on the curve.
Okay, we'll have a look at the car. It's quite hard on the car from the data. We'll have a look.
The race pace is generally better than their qualifying pace. The weather was cool yesterday, and they're a team that struggles with tyre warm-up in cooler conditions. But even taking all into consideration, it was a disappointing display that Hamilton called a kick in the teeth. Hamilton is on a run of 5 straight podiums, but he's without a win in 2022, with Verstappen and Leclerc starting down the back and Norris and Ocon also out of their way. On paper, this looks like a possible venue for a Mercedes win. Fernando Alonso said, I think the Mercedes, they have a strong race pace, and Charles and Max, they will come for sure. Today is more about having fun, being aggressive at the start. We have an opportunity maybe into turn 5 to lead the race. Albon deserves a mention. He made Q3 yesterday for the first time this season and starts a brilliant 6th. That Williams has been rapid in a straight line this weekend. But we're about to get to lights out, so we'll pause that for a moment. It's lights out and away we go. Look, that's Carlos Sainz on pole with a great start. He takes the lead. In second place is Fernando Alonso. Third place is Lewis Hamilton, and Carlos Sainz has a lengthy lead already. It's a great start of this 44-lap race for Carlos Sainz as the drivers go through Eau Rouge. Oh, there's been a big collision. Hamilton, there's a yellow flag. There's an Aston Martin on the gravel. That will be big damage for Lewis Hamilton. What on earth has happened at the start there? There's another driver in the gravel. That was Lance Stroll that time. Hamilton's out. Jesus Christ, man. So at the moment, Sainz is in the lead, followed by Perez. Russell is up to third. There's a yellow flag in sector 3. Verstappen has gained 6 positions already. He's up to 8th. Leclerc's in 9th. Vettel has also gained 5 positions and he's in 5th. Oh, and there's a Latifi and the Alfa Romeo of Valtteri Bottas in a collision. And Bottas is out as well. Latifi goes onto the gravel. Oh, it's unlucky. So Hamilton's out and Bottas is out. The safety car is out as well. We'll go through this while the safety car is going on is happening. Albon deserves a mention. He made Q3 yesterday for the first time this season and starts a brilliant 6th. That Williams has been rapid in a straight line this weekend, but can he keep quicker cars behind when they inevitably recover? He has 2 top 10 finishes so far this season and would love a third. He said, "We'll give it a go. It's low track grip on the start finish line. So it's all about minimizing wheel spin. We know in the back of our heads we can't run wide is what we need. It's what we need, more gravel traps." The drivers have headed to the front of the grid for the pre-race formalities, including the national anthem. Sunny skies overhead, a track temperature some 15 degrees warmer than yesterday, and 20 drivers ready and raring to go. Looking to the tyres and strategy then, this is what Pirelli have to say. It's the quickest way to get to the flag. The quickest is a two-stopper, which is as quick as a one-stopper. So the two-stopper medium soft to medium. And then the one-stopper medium to soft. To medium to hard, sorry. And then very close is a soft to hard one-stop. What a prat, Alonso. Let's see this from Alonso's point of view. Jesus. On that note, Verstappen and Leclerc have both have fresh sets of soft compound tyre, which the front runners don't. The conditions will make things tricky though, with practice being run in much cooler temperatures. What will this increase in track temperature to the tyre wear? The temperature is a bit higher, but the cars feel as good as yesterday, Esteban Ocon says. The aim is to get back into the top 10. The risk of rain is 0%. Spa has also undergone some changes since we were last here. A few corners have been reprofiled, gravel traps added, and runoff areas changed. Turn 7 incident involving Latifi, Ocon and Bottas have been noted by the stewards. It could lead to a slightly more cautious start, with Sainz already having experimented with dipping a wheel in the gravel this weekend. He joked that he was doing some rallying, but he might be keen to stay on the tarmac when the lights go out. He's going to have a job on his hands. The tow is potent here, and if he leads going through Eau Rouge with Perez on his tail, it will be a big job to keep that Red Bull behind. So, is that Charles Leclerc in the pits? Yeah, it is. Charles Leclerc is in the pits. Under safety car, it looks a slower stop. He's gone onto the medium tyre, Charles Leclerc. Sergio Perez said pre-race, yeah, that will be the target, to get ahead at turn 5. I think that's always a good opportunity when you're in P2, so that will be the target. I really want it to happen today. It's a good opportunity. Latifi's in the pits. He'll continue with a new front wing. Kevin Magnussen has said it's tight between a 1 and 2 stop. Everyone has a big question mark over how the tyres will perform. A lot of people are out of position. Going to be an exciting race. Magnussen starts in P12 for this one. His teammate down in 19. Starting tyres are in, and Tsunoda from the pit lane has opted for the hards. Verstappen, Leclerc and Bottas are all on fresh softs, and Sainz is on used C4 rubber. Everyone else is on the medium compound, with the Aston Martin pair being a scrubbed set. Here's Daniel Ricciardo on the radio.
Daniel, tyre information. So soft starters are Bottas, Verstappen and Leclerc on new. Sainz is on used. Hard starter is Tsunoda from the pit lane. All other cars are on medium tyre.
So Verstappen and Leclerc are both going for a quick start then on the softs. The safety car is in this lap. Gasly is headed back to the pit lane. That's not ideal for the Frenchman, who was due to start from 8th. He was on the grid, so it looks like a late issue for the AlphaTauri. So then the formation lap goes underway. We'll remove this for a moment as the safety car is about to go in this lap. So it is Sainz, Perez, Russell, Alonso, Vettel, Ricciardo, Albon, Verstappen, Stroll and Magnussen as the top 10, followed by Ocon, Norris, Zhou, Schumacher, Tsunoda, Gasly, Leclerc and Latifi. Bottas and Hamilton are both out. The safety car is in. The green flag is out. Sainz with a great start. Perez and Russell battling. Russell will try and go out round the outside. Perez locks up into turn 1. Alonso is behind him with a great run on George Russell down the Kemmel Straight. Alonso is ahead going into the corner, but Russell keeps that 3rd place. Turn 7 incident between Latifi, Ocon and Bottas has been reviewed. No investigation necessary, causing a collision. Max Verstappen in 7th at the moment. Max Verstappen up to 6th into the bus stop chicane, and we're on to lap 6 now. So we'll continue through this. Off goes Sainz, heading off down to La Source. Perez, Alonso and Hamilton all slotting behind the Scarlet Ferrari, as the others do likewise. Looks like Gasly's late pit lane start will leave a gap on the grid. In P8, Carlos Sainz gets the fastest lap, and Lewis Hamilton isn't even back to the Mercedes garage yet. It's a long lap here, especially when the drivers are trying to take the minimum life out of their rubber. Sainz is crawling along, doing his best to back up the pack. He started from pole once before, and he went on to win that race. Sainz is back on the grid and slowly pulls to a stop in the P1 box. Perez slots in alongside, and then comes Alonso moments away now as Tsunoda is released from the AlphaTauri garage to trundle down the pit lane. So lights out, off goes Sainz, and he's clean away. Perez gets a slow start and peels across the track to try and block Alonso, but it's not enough as Alonso is through. Hamilton follows him through, but then makes contact with Alonso, and they both run wide. Sainz leads from Perez and Russell, and Hamilton starts to drop down the order. Hamilton has issues from that contact, and he's going slower and slower. Alex Albon has just got past Daniel Ricciardo. So the Turn 5 incident involving Alonso and Hamilton has been noted. Hamilton is told to stop by his team, and it looks like he's around Turn 16 at the moment. And the safety car comes out. Alonso running in 4th at the moment. Verstappen down the inside on Sebastian Vettel is up to 5th place. Bottas and Latifi have had a moment. Latifi ran wide and spun into Bottas. Here's Ocon on the radio.
Hamilton in front has a puncture by the looks of it, or a problem at least.
So DRS has just been enabled. This is when the safety car came out. The safety car's out, which briefly neutralises things. So Sainz leads from Perez, Russell and Alonso. Verstappen up to 8th. Leclerc has followed him through to 9th. Here's Alonso on the radio.
Yeah, Ollie, what an idiot. Closing the door from the outside. I mean, we had a mega start, but yeah, this guy only knows how to drive starting first.
Replays of the start show that Hamilton had a great slipstream and was side by side with Alonso. It looks like he cuts across the Alpine and didn't give him quite enough room. That might be a racing incident, but the stewards have noted it. There is the picture. So Verstappen started 14th. He's now in 4th. As for Latifi and Bottas, the Finn saw the Williams spinning towards him from the right, and in a bid to avoid contact, spun off into the gravel. Here's Bottas on the radio.
I'm beast. I'm stuck. I had to avoid this collision, so.
Still under safety car conditions with just Bottas and Hamilton retired. Latifi and Leclerc are both in the pits, and it might have been a slow puncher for the Ferrari man as the Canadian gets a new front wing. Here's Leclerc on the radio.
So going to medium.
Safety car came in. Ferrari have told Leclerc his issue was actually a tear off in the cooling system, not a slow puncture. So when the safety car peels back into the pits, Sainz will be trying to hang on for the lead from Perez and Russell. Leclerc asked if it's a one-stop here from him. We've talked about that. Back to racing then. Sainz locks up into the final corner before trying to jump away. Somehow he holds on to the lead, but Perez is looking keen and feisty here. Alonso has a decent look at Russell, but the Mercedes man just about holds on to 3rd. Here is Alonso on the radio again.
Okay, Fernando. So at the moment we're seeing a bit of a pressure delta on the front axle, on the front tires, front left being lower.
So Verstappen is in 3rd place already. He's just overtook George Russell. Verstappen has picked off Albon and Ricciardo on that lap alone, and he's now up to 6th. Vettel is the next man up on the road. Hamilton is wondering about the outer rim of the circuit, around the outer rim of the circuit, looking like he has the weight of the world on his shoulders. Perhaps he can find birthday boy Bottas for a drink. As for those still racing, Albon has just picked off Ricciardo, the Williams. Really impressive here. So Leclerc started 15th. He's still in 15th, but remember he has had a pit stop. 5th is Verstappen is skyfing his way through here. This is ultra dominant. Russell is the next driver, warily watching his mirrors, and he's won a second and a half and up the road. Leclerc isn't making the same progress after his pit stop. He's in 16th. No further investigation for the Hamilton and Alonso incident. Sainz leads by 2 seconds from Perez. Then comes Russell, who now has Verstappen in his DRS. The Dutchman said it would be a shame if he didn't get a podium today. Such is the feeling in this car. Here is Sainz on the radio then.
We are more for plan B. We are more for plan B, and we are monitor the soft behavior.
So it sounds like the Ferrari is on to plan B. Russell can't fight the Red Bull man, who picks off the Mercedes using his straight line speed into turn 5. That's third for the Dutchman, much to his delight of the orange-clad crowd. Further back, Leclerc has picked off Gasly for 15th. Sainz made a fast start from P1 and stayed ahead, but there was a lot of action at the back as Hamilton looked to make a move past Alonso heading into turn 5 after both had overtaken Perez at the start, but the two former teammates made contact, forcing the Mercedes driver to retire with damage. Also out of the race is Bottas, who was beached into the gravel after trying to avoid the spinning Williams and Latifi. Here's Gasly on the radio.
Okay, Pierre, I understand it's very difficult in this situation, but a little bit of lift off where you can to help those brake temps. Thank you.
How long will Perez hold off his teammate? The gap between the two is a shade under 2 seconds right now. They're on different strategies too, with a Mexican on the medium and Verstappen on the softs. Verstappen complaining about high deg on his tyres as well. Here's Lance Stroll on the radio.
Really struggling with the rears.
Leclerc's up to 12th. Verstappen's complaining about high degradation on those softs now. No wonder, as he has had to put them to work to make up those places. He still takes 4/10 out of his teammate on that last lap, though. Russell is starting to drop back in P4 from the leading trio. Further back, Alonso is holding on to 5th, although Vettel behind has DRS. Alonso is, of course, taking Vettel's seat next year, Albon is holding on to 7th ahead of Ricciardo, while Ocon is already back into the points after starting down the order. In fact, Albon has just gone into the pits, so has Gasly. Albon pits, the Williams man swaps from the mediums to the hards and looks to be trying a one-stop. Here's Leclerc on the radio.
And we see degradation higher than expected. That's for everybody.
High deg for everyone at the moment. And it's a Red Bull 2-3 at the moment as well. Hamilton and Bottas both out. Tyre degradation is higher than expected for everyone, so that one-stop strategy might be optimistic, especially this early. Pirelli predicted that a one-stop window would open at lap 18, and Sainz comes in, the leader is in, and that releases the Red Bull pair. Verstappen is past Perez and in the lead of this race. Here is Russell on the radio.
And George, give me a balance adjust for the next set.
Inside all 4 tyres. Tyre 10 is understeer, but I'm more triggering a lot entry and exit to the rear.
Sainz has bolted on the mediums and returns in 6th. Behind Ricciardo, Leclerc has climbed up to 9th now. But he'll surely have to pit again at some point. Fist bumps from the team after a swift stop from Alex. He's back out in P17 for the time being. Here's Perez on the radio.
So just think about your tyre management. Sainz pitted onto the medium.
A McLaren is in, and the Alpine of and Esteban Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo both in the pits. Verstappen has been let past Perez, but are they in danger of the undercut from Sainz and Ferrari? Helping their cause is the fact that the Spaniard was stuck behind Ricciardo for half a lap, but he's now past the McLaren, and the Aussie pits. Ocon also heads into the pit lane. Here's Verstappen on the radio then.
So it's extended a bit now.
Yeah, correct. Science pitted for medium. At the moment, despite the high degradation, that's seen on all tyres. And the soft actually looks like a reasonable tyre max.
So Norris is in the pits. Russell has just been in the pits as well. And Charles Leclerc is past Lance Stroll now into 5th.
When it comes to Mr.
Russell is the next to pit. He swaps for mediums, so more mediums. Mercedes committing to a 2-stop. He returns behind Stroll, who is currently side by side with Leclerc. Sainz has made his way past Vettel, and Verstappen starts to discuss strategy with his team. He sounds keen on a 1-stop high, considering he's currently on the softs. He's ambitious, but he's had such great pace all weekend. You wouldn't put it past him. Perez and Vettel are both in the pits. Leclerc up to 3rd. Russell and Stroll get ahead of Vettel. So Tsunoda and Alonso. So Vettel's down in 9th. Zhou is also in the pits in 10th. Albon, Latifi, Ricciardo, Ocon all gain positions as well. Here's Perez and Leclerc battling. Was there slight contact there? Perez is the next to pit. Red Bull splitting strategies here. It's another 2-stop for the Mexican as he also goes medium. Perez returns behind Sainz, but crucially ahead of Leclerc. Leclerc has warmer tyres and he makes a move on Perez side by side to go into turn 5, but Perez squeezes his rival and emerges from that wheel-to-wheel action in front. Russell gaining on Leclerc down the Kemmel straight. Russell is ahead of Leclerc. Big up Chelsea fan, hope you well, mate. Verstappen pits. He can't overly extend that first stint on the softs. Medium tyres get bolted on. It was a decent 2.8 stop. The Dutchman returns in second ahead of his teammate, but 4 seconds shy of Leclerc. Of Sainz, sorry. Further back, Russell is chasing down Leclerc. He's getting closer and closer and gets the job done into turn 5. So Sainz leads from Verstappen and Perez, but is on much older rubber. Russell is 4th, Leclerc 5th. But his race may be compromised by that early pit stop to sort out a tear off that was lodged in his brake ducts. Here's Verstappen on the radio.
Middle sector was 1.2 seconds faster than Sainz. So we can look after these tyres. 7, 9, 10, stable 15.
Alonso is 6th, best of the rest as it stands in Tsunoda, who was the only driver to start on the hards, is up to 7th on the subject of the white-rimmed rubber. Leclerc has just been told that compound is quicker than expected. They have previously with bolting on the hard compound. Verstappen into the lead then. Verstappen is eating up Sainz's advantage, and all of a sudden, with minimal effort, seems to have DRS. He's gaining, and he makes the move stick before turn 5 and immediately pulls out a second worth of fresh air. Verstappen started 14th, which was effectively 13th, thanks to Gasly's late pit lane start. He now leads the Belgian Grand Prix. There's Jack Doohan in the garage, Alpine Academy driver. So Ferrari are aiming for Leclerc to get P5, which he's currently in. Right then, Verstappen leads. The gaps are holding steady behind between Sainz and Perez. Russell is 7 seconds off the fight for the podium as Leclerc starts to debate strategy with his team, who says looking at a P5 finish. Here's Leclerc on the radio.
If we had to stop now, we'll be right in front of Gasly, which is P12.
Why would we stop now?
So we are looking at a P5 finish at the end of the race. Question is, would you like to have a new medium to go through the traffic or prefer a new hard? Question?
I don't know the new hard, so the new medium feels quite okay.
Copy.
But for now, tires feels quite okay.
Understood. That's good.
Big up ORT Racing. Yeah, it is. It's frustrating, really. Hamilton DNF'd. Further back, Tsunoda has pitted, so everyone has now swapped tyres at least once. Latifi's done so twice after needing an early stop for a new front wing, thanks to his opening lap spin. Alonso remains 6th. His teammate has climbed back into the points as well. A fast start for Verstappen saw him make it to P1 by lap 12 after Sainz pitted early from the lead. The championship leader pitting much later and used those fresh tyres to get past Sainz, who also loses out to Perez with Russell in fourth. Leclerc is fifth after a very early stop due to a brake duct issue, as drivers struggle with higher than expected degradation. Red Bull are flying here. Perez has closed the gap and makes a move on Sainz, you guessed it, into turn 5. The overtaking place of choice sees the Mexican make it a Red Bull 1-2 at the moment. Here's Magnussen on the radio.
I've got problems with both axles, front and rear, both.
Here's Verstappen on the radio.
And when you can, balance update on this compound. And when you can,
Feel like there's a little bit more oversteer in the medium speed corners.
Leclerc stopped very early to sort out a tear-off that was lodged in a brake duct. He started on the softs and now on the mediums. On paper, he doesn't need to stop again, but with tyre degradation high, will probably need to. Ferrari have been on the blower, giving him the choice of medium or hard for his next stint, and he sounds slightly bemused at the question, simply wanting to go for the quickest option. Perez past Sainz, yeah. As it stands, he'll be shipping at least 15 points to Verstappen in the championship. More if the Dutchman scores the fastest lap bonus point. With an 8-point deficit in the championship, this really isn't going to plan for Leclerc at the moment. Here's Leclerc on the radio again.
Sock 5 just for temperatures. Signed lap time as a reference, 54.5 with 8 laps younger tires.
So at the moment, we're on lap 24 here. Verstappen has opened up a healthy gap to his teammate with 8 seconds the gap to Perez as it stands. The only driver in the top 10. The only driver in the top 10 with DRS at the moment is Ricciardo, who's eyeing up a move on Albon. Stroll is P11. He's also in that little scrap as he tries to get back into the points. Here's Norris. Here is Norris on the radio.
Lando, at the moment we're thinking plan B, target +5. Plan B, target +5.
Yeah, confirm. It feels terrible, but
Stroll has a look through Eau Rouge, nearly going side by side with Ricciardo before pulling out. So Norris complaining about his tyres at the moment. Great pace by George. He's taken a chunk out of Sainz's advantage on that last lap, and he's pulling clear of Charles in the sister Ferrari. Russell will be in striking distance of Sainz in 3 laps, the battle forecast says. Try to avoid the bump in turn 5. It's quite important. Sainz is told, with the team possibly seeing something in the data they don't like. Something is going on with that Ferrari as Russell is starting to close the gap in the fight for the podium. 4 seconds between those two as it stands. Here's Ocon on the radio.
Okay, so Albon still the car behind, 6.5 seconds back now. I think almost everyone is going to have to stop again.
And the Ferrari of Carlos Sainz is in the pits once again. And is it going to be a double stop for Ferrari here? They've told Leclerc to box. And Leclerc is also in the pits. And so is Esteban Ocon. Fernando Alonso. Esteban Ocon up to 6th. Fernando Alonso is in the pits. As Ocon is told everyone will have to stop again, Sainz is in the pit lane and Ferrari are double stacking. As Sainz switches to the hards and Leclerc puts on the mediums, credit where credit is due. That was some tidy work from the mechanics. On lap 26 of 44 here at Spa, Verstappen and Perez are in a 1-2 at the moment. Alonso also stopped, but his was slightly slower, and he comes out in a huge amount of traffic. Sainz drops just behind Russell in P4. Leclerc has Ocon and Vettel to clear in P7. As an Aston Martin goes into the pits there, Alex Albon and Lance Stroll. Verstappen leads the Belgian Grand Prix by 11 seconds from his teammate, with both needing to pit again. Although on paper the Dutchman could make it to the end, it would be risky. Russell also needs to stop a second time in third. Here's Leclerc on the radio.
And we need 3 to 4 laps as a slow introduction.
And Perez has just been in the pits and comes out in P3. That's Alonso and Guan Yu Zhou battling there. Perez is next to pit. The hard compound is bolted onto the Mexican's car. It's a decent 2.4 stop. All eyes on where he'll emerge, and the answer is ahead of Sainz. The Red Bull is just a superior car out there today. Alonso gaining on Norris there. He's up to P9. Albon has also pitted with a big gaggle of cars squabbling in the midfield. Russell is told to box. So the battle for 6th is Ocon and Leclerc at the moment. Verstappen flies past the pit lane once again. No sign of him coming in. No sign of him coming in. Russell was told to pit, but he stays out as well. The Mercedes man still running second. Further back, Vettel and Ocon in 5th and 6th have yet to pit a second time, and Ocon has his mirrors full of the Scarlet Ferrari of Leclerc. Here's Stroll on the radio.
Okay, Lance, you've got energy when you need it. 2.5 to Schumacher. He's on old hard tyres, 13 lap.
And Russell is about to come in, it looks like. And there is George Russell in the pit lane. Onto the hard tyres. Alonso then gets past Ricciardo, who's able to stop again. That means the Spaniard has his teammates in his sights, who has let Leclerc go without too much bother. Russell pits on this lap too, swapping to the hard compound, which is performing better than expected in these warmer conditions. Here's Ricciardo on the radio.
Pace is good, Daniel. Alonso's just on fresh tyres. Keep looking after the tyre. Keep doing what you're doing. Good pace now.
Norris has just pit. He is down to 15th. Norris also pits, getting rid of his hards and swapping to mediums. He could be fun to watch in the closing stages on that compound. Verstappen is in the pits again. A 2.3 stop. Verstappen has done very well today. Fair play to him. And he's in the lead by 20 seconds. It's his lead. It's his race to lose now. I wouldn't say Alonso has had a perfect race. He's had a good race. Yeah, it's disappointing about Ricciardo leaving McLaren as well. In comes Verstappen. He's stationary for 2.3 seconds as the team bolt on a set of mediums. He comes out well clear of his teammate to the tune of 8 seconds. Does this one have any late drama, or is the Dutchman coasting to victory? Leclerc's past Vettel. So Tsunoda and Schumacher are also in the pits. Lando Norris past Guan Yu Zhou then. Russell lost out a bit there. He was just over 3 seconds back on Sainz before the second round of pits. He now trails by over 6 seconds in the fight for the final podium spot. If you were wondering where his teammate is, Hamilton was involved in a clumsy move when fighting with Alonso on the opening lap, sustaining too much damage to continue. He may still be wandering around the edge of the track. Here's Russell on the radio.
So gap ahead 6 seconds. We are happy with fuel. Surface temps getting in the window.
Colin White's in hospital. BTCC support race Ginetta GT4. There was a huge shunt. Get well soon, Colin White. Looking back at the footage, he was in my blind spot and I didn't leave enough space, so it was my fault today. Just sorry to this team. He was right in my blind spot, says Lewis Hamilton. So Hamilton has made it back and has admitted fault for that first lap incident. And given the result, it's not a massive surprise that he sustained too much damage to continue. Russell has taken a couple of seconds out of Sainz in the fight for third, as the Spaniard is told to try his best. Leclerc has climbed back to fifth, but is 15 seconds back on the Mercedes as Vettel pits from P6. Here's Joe on the radio.
Soft tire management, you can keep this approach for turn 10. Looking good last lap.
And here is Sainz on the radio.
Try your best. The last lap was good.
Guys, I'm pushing a lot.
Sainz has asked for a free stop, which is an interesting approach. Yeah, it was a racing incident. The championship leader started on the softs down in 14th, but quickly made his way through the field, picking off the leading drivers with ease. He then pitted for the mediums, coming out in second, but quickly overtook Sainz to take the lead on merit. The Red Bull driver has just made his second and most likely final stop and has an 11-second lead over Perez in P2. Here's Ricardo on the radio.
Okay, Daniel, there's a load of cars that are going to be struggling with tyres ahead. They're led by Albon.
So Gasly gets ahead of Vettel, and then Ocon passes them both for 7th place. So it's Ocon in 7th, Gasly in 8th, Vettel in 9th. But Vettel goes down the inside of Gasly for 8th at turn 8. Verstappen has reported some shifting issues, but his team reassuring that the problem should resolve itself in a lap or two. With 13 seconds over his teammate, he can't afford to take it relatively easy for the rest of this one. Vettel's stop dropped him to P8, make that 7th. He just picks off Gasly. Hang on, Gasly fights back and he squabbles with Vettel for 7th. Ocon senses an opportunity and manages to pick off both cars. That's Ocon up to 7th as Vettel retakes the place from Gasly for 8th. Here's Gasly on the radio.
Copy that. Albon is still doing 44-0. 44-0. Just manage it to the end. Do whatever you need to manage it. Don't waste time with these guys.
Russell is lapping the 2nd quickest of anyone, only bettered by Verstappen, and as such that gap to Sainz is down to 2.6 seconds. There are enough laps left for Russell to make this stick, and that would be a big blow to Ferrari's championship charge. So Albon, Stroll, Norris and Zhou are in the battle for 10th, a battle for the points. Not long left of this race. Albon is still clinging on in the points. The Williams man is P10, but has Stroll in his DRS, and Norris in 12th is also ready to pounce. So is Zhou and Tsunoda. And a nice little DRS train forming behind the Williams in the fight for the final point on offer. Here's Norris on the radio.
So the LICO into 1, 5 and 12 will help.
A pit lane start for a late electronics issue hasn't deterred Gasly today, as he's holding on in the points here, even if he's lost the back of Vettel's car. Ocon is trying to chase down his teammate for 6th, and he's towing the Aston Martin along in his wake. So Norris started 17th and is now in 12th with 5 laps of this race to go. 6 laps, sorry, of this race to go. Russell is within 2 seconds of Sainz now, but the Ferrari man seems to be trying to pick up the pace, and he desperately tries to hold on to the last podium spot. Norris further back admits he's starting to struggle, and his race engineer coolly replies, it's too late for plan G. G for go faster, ? Is Ocon on the radio?
Okay, mate, so 6 laps to go at the end of this one. The cars are going to stay in position, okay? So we're going to stay in this position until the end of the race.
So that means Ocon will remain in P7, Alonso in P6, apart from any overtakes. So Russell is 7/10 slower than Sainz on his last lap. So we're on lap 40 of 44 here. Verstappen in his own league at the moment in P1. Verstappen's cruising here, 16-second lead over his teammate. Fresher tyres, looks like he'll be extending his championship lead. Leclerc has given up the ghost in the bid to chase down Russell, and is either nursing his tyres home in fifth or saving some rubber for a late go. Some rubber for a late go at the fastest lap bonus point. Here's Guan Yu Zhou on the radio.
Use overtake before turn 18 to cancel the clip.
It looks like a good day for Alpine with Alonso and Ocon in the points, especially with no McLaren set to score today. Alpine are fourth in the constructors and could be another team to leave this one with a more comfortable gap to their rivals. So 3 laps to go. Verstappen 17 seconds ahead. Russell ran wide last time around and got on the marbles, losing tyre temperature as a result. He had to drop back to get those tyres back into a working window, and as such is now running out of time to catch Sainz for the final podium spot. Stroll remains in DRS range of Albon for the final point, but that Williams is not easy to pass in a straight line today. Norris and Zhou have picked up Tsunoda and Ricciardo in that DRS train now, but again, they're all running out of time to make a move. Here is Norris on the radio.
And Lando, the safety car window is closed. Safety car window is closed.
So there'll be no safety car. Tsunoda makes a move on Guan Yu Zhou there into the bus stop chicane. Tsunoda does pick off Zhou for P13 with a late move that showed some daring, but it didn't last. The Alpha man is already back ahead. And Leclerc is in the pits, probably for his fastest lap attempt. And there'll be a battle here for 5th. Alonso and Leclerc. Ferrari may have had another disaster here. And Alonso will have DRS down the Kemmel Straight. Alonso is past Leclerc. Ferrari have had another disaster. Leclerc's in the pits. It looks like this is a free stop, and indeed the soft tyres are bolted on as the Monegasque seems set to go for the fastest lap bonus point. But it wasn't a great stop by Ferrari, and they didn't have as much of a gap as they thought, and he comes out right ahead of Alonso. Alonso immediately picks off Leclerc, and this has gone all a bit pear-shaped suddenly for the Scuderia. Ferrari have had another disaster. And we're on the final lap. Verstappen looks like he's going to get his 8th win of the season. His 9th win of the season, sorry. Here comes Verstappen onto the final lap to finish off what has been an imperious performance. He's on cruise control here with a crowd on their feet already celebrating. Verstappen wins the Belgian Grand Prix. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1 at the moment. And Perez makes it a 1-2. For Leclerc manages to get past Alonso into turn 5. Ferrari will be breathing a big sigh of relief there. So Perez 2nd, Sainz 3rd, Russell 4th, Leclerc 5th, Magnussen, Schumacher and Latifi. And Verstappen has also got the fastest lap. And he's also won driver of the day. Was it ever in doubt? Verstappen dominates the race to win and extend his championship lead as Red Bull score a 1-2 in Spa. Amazing Sunday, guys. Car was a rocket ship all weekend, he says, and you can almost hear that smile that must be plastered across his face. So we will wrap it up there then, but before that we will go through the final positions for this session. So Verstappen won the race. He led a Red Bull 1-2, Perez in 2nd, Sainz got 3rd, Russell in 4th, and Leclerc in 5th. Alonso and Ocon get an Alpine 6-7, with Vettel in 8th, Gasly in 9th, Albon in 10th. Albon gets a point for Williams, a big point as well. Stroll 11th, Norris in 12th, Tsunoda is in 13th, Guan Yu Zhou 14th, as the fans run onto the track now. Ricciardo in 15th, Magnussen 16th, Schumacher 17th, Latifi in 18th, and Bottas and Hamilton DNF'd. So we will wrap it up there then. Everyone, thank you all so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter as well, at MCFC-Hibs if you are new around here. Dugout Daily, the football channel. Hit the Apex, the F1 channel. And at MCFC-Hibs on Twitter. Everybody, thank you all so much for watching. And we'll speak to you all soon. Take care and goodbye for now.